welcome back to They Love. If this is your first time here, my name is Destiny. I am with both They Love Streaming and Behind the Reel. They Love Streaming is where we talk about any streaming TV shows and movies that interest us. We highlight it, review it. We basically just have a fun time both on our website and on our Instagram. And Behind the Reel is where I review movies that are released in Hollywood, straight to theaters. I talk about the business of Hollywood. So if any of that interests you, I link both of those websites down below. And today I want to talk about WandaVision. Now that episode 8 has come out and it's the last episode before the season finale, I want to talk about my last minute WandaVision predictions. So, because again, I feel like we have a lot of questions unanswered and we only have one episode left, but I feel like that last episode is going to be very long because overall I think each MCU, at least for now, each MCU Disney Plus series is supposed to be 6 hours long in total. So a lot of the earlier episodes were only 30 minutes. This last episode was actually the longest. So I'm hoping for at least an hour-long finale. Because again, not just because I think it's supposed to be 6 hours, but also because there's so many questions that have to be answered. So with episode 8, here's my little mini review of episode 8. I did appreciate it a bit more because it answered questions I didn't even think to ask. And the entirety of episode 8 is just a really big emotional punch in the gut because you're going through Wanda's past and her traumas from her as a child to her losing her parents, her losing her brother, losing Vision, and it doesn't hit you in the emotions. I just don't know what will. And I think Elizabeth Olsen's acting really sold it. I really felt her pain. It was actually a lot, but I knew that this episode was going to be a majority of a flashback episode showing how Agatha got her start as a witch, how did this whole Westview thing start, what's going on with Hayward and Vision. So those questions were mostly answered. A big thing is that Wanda finally gets her name, the Scarlet Witch. And it's she not only gets her name, but she gets it from Agatha Harkness, who says she's some sort of anomaly in witch lore, I guess, because she can do chaos magic. I really thought that Agatha was gonna say she was a Nexus being because they teased Nexus last episode with that commercial, and Nexus is a whole different thing, but it's something that can open different realities, and we thought this was gonna lead into the multiverse. So I thought she was gonna say, okay, you're really powerful, you're a Nexus being, you're the Scarlet Witch, but she can just do chaos magic, but that's also a big thing. And I love, because it's so strange, because when I've been writing reviews weekly for WandaVision, and one of my reviews, I said that I believed Wanda when she said, I don't know how all this started, I did not do this, I don't know how we came to be in Westview. I really believed her. And the thing is, she wasn't lying, but she really just did not remember that from her grief and trauma and sadness and pain, she birthed a new Vision and created Westview. She is that powerful. She just did it through her emotion, which is absolutely insane to me. Not the most insane part of that is that she made an entirely new Vision. Not just a new Vision, but from the look of that scene, it seemed like she actually created a new Mind Stone, which is so crazy. I know she's powerful. I know Scarlet Witch is powerful, but that is literal insanity. And it is kind of crazy that it seems like she gave birth to Vision. Just look at that scene. It was very interesting. And that does explain why Vision can't leave Westview. But then on the other side, it's also revealed that the director Hayward was completely lying when he said Wanda broke into Sword, stole Vision's body, I guess put him back together, she's a villain and evil. I knew he was the villain, it's so clear, but I actually did think that she did break into Sword because of that one moment, I think either in episode 4 or 5, where she saw Vision's dead body, but I guess she was just remembering what she saw when she visited Sword. This is crazy. It's so crazy. Hayward really tried to manipulate Wanda into bringing Vision back online. And even though I think what she did was not exactly what he had planned, I really feel that Wanda created a soul for Vision inside of Westview, but at the same time, he's not real. That's why he can't leave he can't leave Westview or he'll break apart. But at the end of the episode, actually as in the post-credit scene, it's revealed that Hayward has taken Vision's body and create like a new Vision, but I am betting that that's just a body. It's just a machine, no soul. So I'm hoping in the finale, just one of my predictions, that the soul that Wanda created with in Westview and the actual body that can live in the outside world will come together. But before that, they'll probably have a showdown of the two Visions, which will be amazing. But I just love how, by the way, I do love how the two different villains, you have Hayward over here with the science, technology, all that, but you have Agatha Harkness with wanting Wanda for her magic, not just Wanda, but I believe this one's as well. So they just have people coming at them from all sides, and I don't even know how Darcy, Monica, Jimmy will even factor into the finale. I'm hoping Monica gets a great fight scene with her powers, but at the same time, she just got her powers. So we'll see what happens, especially because of that mid-credit scene where whoever Evan Peters is, like, surprise attacked her. So I don't know. We don't know where Monica is right now. And then what's crazy is that based on all the trailers, teasers of WandaVision, we have barely any footage of the finale episode. All we have, I think, are both Wanda and Vision flying, maybe towards a battle, talking to each other, saying, "Oh, we need to protect our home." There's only a couple of like 5-second clips, or even less than, of this finale episode, and that's actually kind of amazing that they hit so much of the finale. So again, these are just my final questions and my final predictions to these questions that have not yet been answered, and I actually don't know if any of these will be answered, especially this first one. So who is Dottie? Did they forget about Dottie? Is Dottie a red herring? I could have sworn my first prediction at the beginning of WandaVision was that she was Dottie Underwood. So I thought that was who she was, but at the same time, I was kind of skeptical because I'm pretty sure they did already did that character in Agent Carter. So I wasn't sure if they were going that direction, but who is she? She's not on the board. I didn't just realize that when they were investigating each citizen that lives in Westview, they put their real names up on the board, like the vision board, the theory board, and Dottie is not there. So who is Dottie? Is she the witness protection person that, like the person witness protection that Jimmy had mentioned? I have no clue. And why would they show her looking at her yellow flowers right before, I think, either the confrontation with Monica and Wanda and Agatha? Who is she? Is she important? I don't know. Is she a red herring? So my final prediction for Dottie, okay, either she was just a red herring this entire time, or I think Dottie is maybe like a good witch. That could be like a little twist. Like maybe she's like a witch, but a good witch who's been keeping an eye on Agatha. I don't know. I only had that theory because of the color yellow that was in the color of her flowers. But other than that, she's not Dottie Underwood, and she's not the person who was in witness protection. And also, I don't think she's the person in witness protection because they would have recognized her. So if not, then she's a good witch, and if she's not a good witch, she's just a huge red herring used to distract all of us. Because that's my only prediction. So either a good witch or a red herring. That's it, unless they go with Dottie Underwood, but maybe I feel like that's unlikely because since they already did that character in Agent Carter, but we'll see. Okay, and my next question is, what's going to happen with mutants? I for sure thought that Wanda was going to break the world and create the multiverse and actually create mutants, which would be highly ironic because in the comics that was basically the opposite of what she did. She broke the multiverse, but she said no more mutants. But I thought she was gonna break it, create mutants, and that's how the X-Men will come in, and that could factor into Evan Peters being there, even though I don't believe he's the Pietro from X-Men, but that would still be awesome for people who want that. But I don't think they're going that direction anymore because this episode is basically Agatha confirming that Wanda is a witch because she still has to go by the rules of witches, like not using her powers when another witch has already done some runes or something. So So I don't know what is gonna happen with mutants, because I think Wanda is just a witch, she's not a mutant. So I don't think they're gonna bring them in, at least with WandaVision, which is kind of strange. So that's my prediction, no mutants for now. But that leads into another thing. Actually, before I get to that, before I get to the multiverse, before I get to my prediction for that, who's Ralph? Who is Ralph? Like, so many questions. Who are these people? Because in sitcoms, it's a very, how do I say? It's a trope in a sitcom to have a character who is always named, but you never see them. So every time Agatha talked about Ralph, that's a good kind of, you know, nod to sitcoms. But at the same time, I thought Ralph would be important in some factor. I really thought Ralph would be, you know, she said it was her husband, but I thought it would be Mephisto, Nightmare, even Evan Peters. I'm like, oh, is Evan Peters Mephisto? Who is Ralph? Is he just Senior Scratch the Rabbit? Like, okay. Okay, I guess. So I really don't know if they're gonna bring in Mephisto, because how are they gonna bring him in one final episode? So because I really just think it's gonna be maybe a final showdown between Agatha and Wanda, and if they do bring anyone in, I think it would be Doctor Strange. That would be a great cameo. So Ralph, I don't know if he's Mephisto, you guys. I don't know. Like, sometimes I hope in my heart of hearts that she was talking about Mephisto, but I don't think so. I think he may just be the rabbit. That kind of sucks. Okay. So, and that leads into, I guess, into Evan Peters, because I really thought that Evan Peters was Ralph, was Mephisto, was Nightmare. Who is Evan Peters playing? I know that casting him, if he's not Pietro from the X-Men, casting him is a good nod both to X-Men, but also kind of a distraction, because everyone was thinking that he was a Pietro from X-Men, even though he would not be. But my theory is that he's not Pietro from the X-Men. I really thought that he was either going to be Mephisto, Nightmare, or Nicholas Scratch. So I guess my final prediction for Evan Peters is that he's Nicholas Scratch, because Nicholas Scratch is actually Agatha's son in the comics, and that's just, I think Kevin Feige just likes to keep things simple. So if they do ever explain who he's playing, maybe it's just Nicholas Scratch, he's just the son, even though, why would Agatha have to control her son? And maybe to give him the powers of Quicksilver? I actually did not think about that. Oh my gosh, if he's just a local in the neighborhood, that's gonna actually make me mad. Because that's not that clever. I really hope he's somebody at least. But I don't think he's Pietro. I guess that's my final prediction. I don't think he's Pietro. Even Agatha said that he's Pietro. I don't think she took him from the multiverse from X-Men. I don't think he's related to that. I think he's just a nod and also distraction, so people would be guessing that. So my final questions / predictions are both related to the multiverse and to Billy and Tommy. Because what is going to happen to Billy and Tommy? In the comics, Billy and Tommy their souls are consumed by Mephisto, because that's where their soul kind of comes from. Like, Wanda unintentionally creates them with Mephisto's like shards of his soul. It's a whole thing. But again, Kevin Feige likes to keep things simple. So I think Agatha Harkness is maybe just the main villain of this, no Mephisto. And even her holding the twins at the end of the episode on those like purple leashes is kind of a callback to that drawing, that art in the comic. So Billy and Tommy, I don't know, because I feel like I know they're going to factor into Young Avengers, and I thought they're going to age themselves up again just to be like teenagers so that they can be in the Young Avengers. But the whole point of what causes Wanda to even create the multiverse is like breaking down when she realizes what happens to her children. I can't see them surviving this. I don't know, like maybe they don't survive, and then that's how Wanda opens up the multiverse to find another Billy and Tommy, or even she just doesn't do it intentionally. Again, she didn't do Westview intentionally, so she didn't create that whole thing intentionally. She did not create Vision intentionally. That was all from trauma, pain, sadness. So I think Billy and Tommy, if something happens to them, she could break down again and inadvertently create the multiverse. Maybe that's where Doctor Strange comes in. But I just don't think Billy and Tommy are going to make it out of this, because Wicked and Speed, Billy and Tommy in the comics are actually reincarnations. So it would make sense if they come back later and maybe like Doctor Strange 2. So I think that is my final prediction. I think maybe they don't survive this, or maybe Agatha even takes them for their magic, something, kidnaps them, and maybe we get them back in Doctor Strange 2. So I think those are my final guesses. Let's go through them again. Dottie, I think either was a great major red herring, or maybe she's like a good witch, because again, why show her with those yellow flowers? Like, look, she looks so aware of everything, but also unaware. But that could be acting like Agatha. Billy and Tommy, I don't think they're gonna make it. I'm sorry, you guys. They'll come back in some way. I know they're gonna be young Avengers, so they'll come back. And again, for now, at least for now, because I know X-Men are coming in the future, we know. But for now, no mutants. I think Wanda is just explained to be a witch. And that means that Evan Peters does not create show. I'm hoping that he's either Nicholas Scratch or maybe Nightmare, maybe, but at the same time, he seems too much of a henchman. I don't know. So, but I'm really hoping it's not just like a random local person who's under Agatha's control, because that would just be boring. And that'll be a waste of Evan Peters. He's a great actor. Ralph, I think is Senior Scratch. Like, if he is Mephisto and they saved it into the final episode and really kept that a secret, that would be great. But for now, I think he's Senior Scratch the Rabbit. Wow. And then the multiverse. This needs to end with Wanda in some way creating the multiverse. I don't care how it happens, but it has to happen. And even if it's not intentional, it has to happen, because then that doesn't explain how Spider-Man 3 is going to include Andrew Garfield. I don't care what Tom Holland says. We know Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and even Jamie Foxx, Sinister Six, they're all going to be in that. So how do they all show up if the multiverse is not, you know, opened and like destroyed, and they just, you know, come into the universe? You know, so it has to end in some way with Wanda losing it and saying, no more Avengers, no more wishes. So what is going to be the iconic line? By the way, in the comics, the iconic line that Wanda says is no more mutants. So, but there's no mutants, so she can't say that. So what would be the iconic line? It has to be something. So no more Avengers, no more witches, no more... Someone said no more children, because maybe Billy and Tommy disappeared and then she like makes it so no one can have children, but I don't know if she's that cruel. Yeah, you know what, leave your guesses for what she'll say. I have no clue. I don't know what Wanda will say at the end, but I guess those are my final guesses. No more Avengers, no more witches, no more children. That one is very unlikely, but you know, it could happen. So that's actually my very scattered ramblings of my final WandaVision predictions. I really do love this show, but there's so many unanswered questions. I do think this is going to be an amazing finale, but there's so much left to answer. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a finale that is at least an hour long, and we'll see. It would be great if you do get a cameo from Doctor Strange, even if it's just real quick at the end, like, hey, what's going on here? Why is everything destroyed? That would be so awesome. If I see a portal open, I'm going to lose it. But what do you guys think? Are you guys liking WandaVision? Did you like my predictions? What are your predictions? I really want to know. Comment down below. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for more WandaVision content. And I'll see you guys later.